Hello everyone and welcome to the video for our race highlights of the most recent round of the Puma Cup at Silverstone. Before we get going though, I want to let you all know, very sadly we lost one of our Puma Cup colleagues, a friend to everyone in the paddock, Mark Jackson. We raced with him only a few weeks ago at Cadwell Park and he sadly lost a very short battle with cancer a couple of weeks ago. I've known Mark personally for 6 years now. He and his brother Neil have been regular fixtures in the Puma Cup, part of the furniture, so to speak. And it's strange to think that I'll not see his lime green car on the track with him behind the wheel anymore. Mark was just such a nice guy. I've got nothing but nice things to say about him. Both he and his brother Neil, they've both helped us so much. They've been great friends, great racers. It was actually Mark that sprayed Woodstock in his bright yellow coat of paint a couple of winters ago, and Mark did that completely free of charge on his own time. I'll forever be grateful. Mark, you are going to be missed immensely in the paddock. Of course, Mark Chappell and Mike Brown, fellow Gurobans, extend their sympathies and condolences to Mark's family and friends, as of course I will do as well. Mark, race in peace, something like that maybe. You're going to be missed, my friend. Okay, here we go then, folks. It's the Puma Cup at Silverstone National. You might recognise the helmet in the car as Ian Howard. It's not me racing this weekend. Ian is a guest driver of Team Guroba, and he joined us last year at Alton Park. Had a cracking debut where he chased down Luke Johnson and ended up finishing in second place. So Ian's looking to go one better this time. Qualifying in the morning went really well. Ian got down to the same sort of time that I did on Friday, but where it took me 3 sessions to do it, Ian managed it in 20 minutes. So although that's a bit of a blow to my ego, it's also fair play and credit to Ian. He's lining up in pole position on the Puma Cup grid. Joining us in this race, we've got 5 other cars. We've got Luke Johnson behind us in second place. I cannot remember the order of the other cars, forgive me, but there's Ian, Luke, Neil Jackson sharing the car with Nick Fuljames, Gareth Cockgrove, Zach Bagwell, and Katie Wall is making her Puma Cup. Sorry, no, she's not making her Puma Cup debut. It's the first time that I've been at the paddock when she's entered. She entered at Thruxton last year, but it's the first time I met Katie and her family this weekend. They were qualified in 6th position. So we've got a 40-minute Puma Cup race. I'm on the pit wall, I've got radio comms through to Ian on the grid, but he knows exactly what to do. Ian races in the Focus Cup series as well, and they were here at Snetterton here at Silverstone not too long ago, so he's more than familiar with the circuit and standing starts as well. So the plan is to get an amazing start, shoot off into the lead, build a gap, pit as late as possible, come out after a brilliant pit stop and storm through to take the win. Is it going to go to plan? Well, I guess we'll wait and see, won't we? Right then, so where he's on the assembly area just now. I'm going to fast forward this bit up to the start. So, yep, see you in a minute. Also, Luke Johnson kind of gave us his in-car footage, so you'll see that pop up every now and again. I'll try to draw your attention to it as the video progresses. But here we go then. Here's the start. Unfortunately, Ian did not get a great start. He didn't get the revs up and the car bogged down a bit. Now, Luke Johnson on the inside of us got a run down into Cops. Ian knows better than to shut the door just there because it's a long race and there's no room for 2 cars to go into one apex. But by taking a wider radius around the corner, he gets a really good exit, and you can now see Luke on the rear view mirror falling back a little bit, and there's us ahead just going into the Beckett's and Maggots complex. Now Luke does have the inside line, but look on the stream in the top left hand corner as we come into view, and yeah, Ian trying to keep as much speed up as possible, ends up taking a wider line. So he's now side by side with Luke down the Wellington Straight. We do have a car length on him, but here comes that white Peugeot with a bit of extra grunt than we've got and sort of tries to get into the mix a little bit. But with the tighter line going into Brooklands, Ian has to brake a little bit earlier, and Luke's starting to hang it on around the outside so that he can take the lead at Luffield on the inside. Oh my goodness, Ian gets pushed out wide a little bit, but hopefully we can now get our foot down and have a better run down the start line. That is one lap of Silverstone. It is fast and frantic, this track. It's a short lap. Race laps are about 1 minute and 14 seconds. There's only really 4 corners of note, and they're all pretty quick. There's no particular massive stops. So Ian's now settled into second place. Obviously we know how quick Luke is. It's going to be difficult to catch and pass Luke Johnson, but of course Ian's a very talented driver, certainly knows what he's doing, so he's going to give it a hell of a go. Now, as most of you all know already, we race in different classes in the Puma Cup, so we've got other cars to deal with. Similarly, they've got to deal with us as well. You'll see, I think it's a blue Peugeot on the left and the black and red Fiesta. Now, they've got more grunt, so they will power away down the straight away from us, but under braking around the corners we're much faster than they are, so we tend to get stuck together on the same bit of tarmac, and we can interfere with each other's races. We always try not to, but you saw Luke had a run around the outside then, and he got a little bit held up by the blue Peugeot and had to back out of it. But here comes Neil up the inside. Oh, big hit on the side. We'll talk about that more later around the pit stop. But yeah, Neil got a bit of oversteer, and when it self-corrected, it whacked us on the rear quarter on the driver's side. So we're now back in third place. You can see Luke up ahead. There's Neil. Here's us. Now look in the rearview mirror. There's Zach Bagwell in the silver Puma in fourth place. He's going to go around the outside at Copse, too wide into an 85-90 mile an hour apex. Very sensible, Zach. Got out of it, lived to fight another day. And you can just see the blue car of Gareth Cotgrove as well. He's right on Zach's bumper. So we've got Pumas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's Luke going up the inside of the Peugeot. Is Neil going to follow him? Not quite. Yeah, 5 Pumas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Katie is still in the race at this point, but she was a little bit off the pace and dropping off the back of the pack. But look at that on the stream in the top left. The Pumas were just on fire this weekend. It was brilliant. Luke's got a bit of breathing space ahead of Neil Jackson now, and Ian's going up the inside. Is he going to make it stick? Zach gets a bit of a slide on in the braking zone. No, Ian doesn't quite make it stick. What's the plan at Luffield? Are we going to stay to the inside? Zach goes to the outside. Luke's got to deal with that Peugeot, but he's handling it pretty well, and we've now got a run on Neil. Brilliant, brilliant work, Ian. But we've got to consider we've got Zach in the rearview mirror. He's got a slipstream as well. So Neil on the inside, Ian in the middle, Zach on the outside. It's 3 wide down the straight, up to 100 miles an hour, break down to 85 or 90-ish. And yeah, sensible Ian got out of it there. 3 wide into Copse, come on. It's crazy. This is one of those races I wish I was in, because I was enjoying it so much from the pit wall, but at the same time I was absolutely terrified as well. And then, oh, is that Neil having a jump? No, it's Zach going up the inside. It's difficult to keep track. So yeah, back down to 4th place for Ian and the Team Guroba car. Like I was saying earlier, great footage on the live stream. They knew where the action was, and it was in the Puma Cup. And yeah, it's just brilliant, isn't it? 5 of us, nose to tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ian's now back up the inside of Zach, or is Zach going to try and hang it around the outside into Brooklands? Meanwhile, Neil's up the inside of Luke. 4 Pumas in 2 separate battles. Again, look at what Ian's trying to do here. He's trying to get the switch back to try and get the straight line speed down the start line, the national straight. So I think Neil's in the lead now, isn't he? Is Neil in the lead? We've got Luke's on board below in the bottom left. Sorry, I can't remember if I've mentioned already. Luke Johnson kindly gave us his in-car footage as well, so that we could have another perspective on some of these battles. Thank you very much for that, Luke. Appreciated. Look at that, 2 wide back into Copse again, and Zach's got a real tank slapper on. So Ian managed to drive around the outside of him, and we're now back onto Luke's bumper. So I think Ian's in 3rd now. There's Neil just ahead. The silver Puma on the left-hand side. Please note, that car is not in the Puma Cup. Matt Griffiths runs an, I think, Class E of the tin tops because he's in a different spec to us. And his car is faster than Puma Cup, but he's having some issues today. You might have seen a bit of smoke coming from his rear quarter just then. So, yeah, although Matt's in a Puma, he's not racing us. And oh, flipping out, that was Zach just flying around the outside. Totally missed that. So we're back into fourth now, and yeah, like I said, difficult to keep up. So it had who knows what lap we're on now, but here we go again down the start line, the national straight. We've got 4 Pumas, well 5 really, because Gareth is right behind, as you can see in the rearview mirror. But what's going to happen this time down into Cups? Luke and Zach have gone to the inside. Neil's over on the left defending, and is Zach going to have a go up the inside of Luke? Yes, he is. But Ian manages to grab a little bit of pace on them both there. But now they're side by side. Now, what's Ian thinking here? He got a good run, but again, nowhere to go. So, yeah, just sit pretty, stay patient. Luke should have this one into the complex. Yes, he does. I thought Zach was going to show up the inside there. Little lock up from Ian, but we're not going to worry about that. But it sets up Brooklands nicely because, once again, Zach is now in the slipstream. We've got a double slipstream, and Gareth in our rear view's got a triple slipstream. What's going to happen at Brooklands? What's going to happen at Brooklands? Look at Ian checking the mirrors. Luke stays to the right, hangs on to his line. Ooh, as you were. Wasn't expecting that. But Luffield, this long right-hander. Now, it looks like Neil got a bit squashed up by the Peugeot in front of him, so Luke is now right on Neil's bumper, and Luke looks like he's going for the inside. We've got a brilliant run on Zach, so but then Zach just pulls away a little bit on the exit of the corner. But Ian's running a tighter line. This could work well for us. So again, 5 in a row, single file. Luke pulls out. Looks like he's going to go for the pass. Is he going to make it stick? Yes, Luke now in the lead. Well done, Luke. Where are we now? Oh, dear me. So much going on. This is just brilliant. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A quick word about Katie on the left there. Did you see the red Puma? Just eyes up to the stream in a moment. You might catch a glimpse of her again. Katie, unfortunately, didn't make the end of this race. Mild spoiler alert. I'll explain more about that in the close down. But here comes Andrew Windmill, the leader of the Tin Tops, in his incredibly rapid Honda Civic. Look at that, diving through on the slightly swapping and zigzagging down the straight to clear the traffic. And that little bit of confusion's given Luke a good run. He's got up the inside of Neil. Zach's going to have a look around the outside. Luke did well to close the door there. Really well. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to talk about. There's too much going on. Right, so Luke's now got the lead, but the 3 cars behind have all got a decent exit. There goes Adam. We have to move out of the way a little bit for him. But Neil, is he going to be able to hang on into Cups? It looks like he might, but although Zach's got an incredible run, Ian's doing the right thing here, just staying out of it. And a little bit of a wobble there from Zach, so now we've got a run. Is it going to be 3 wide up into Beckett's? It could well be, but nah, not quite. We haven't quite got the run here. But again, when you're this close as a pack, if the car in front hits the brakes a 1/10 of a second ahead of you do, you're going to be on the bumper of them. There's going to be contact. Now, we did take a knock earlier in the race up at Luffield, if you remember, but for these cars to be this close for this long with no contact is a testament to not only the driver's skill, but also the respect that we've all got for one another in the Puma Cup. It really is a brilliant place for racing like this. Now, Alfie Jones in the Honda Civic, he's one of the leaders. He's carving his way through. And again, now the leaders are on us, things are going to start shaking up a little bit. Opportunities are going to arise because they always do. Now, look, Neil, now back in third. He was compromised quite badly there, so we've got a good run up the inside. Can we get ahead down into Cop's Corner? I know what's going to happen. They're going to stay side by side all the way down the straight, and somebody's going to have to brave it out on the brakes. But we've got more leaders coming through. There goes Nigel Ainge in the white and sky blue car. Here comes Russell Hurd in his white Honda, and I saw that live from the pit wall, and it was horrible. Oh, goodness me. What a heart and mouth moment. I can only imagine what it was like for Ian in the car. Let's take another look. Yeah, I've seen the replays. I've watched it in slow motion. Russell, the white Honda, came up the inside, and he must not have realised it was 3 wide and thought that Ian had room to move left. So when Russ jinked left there, Ian had nowhere to go other than stand on the brakes, which locked the rears and put him into the spin. If you didn't see how close Gareth Cotgrove in the blue Puma got to hitting us just then rewind it and take another look. Oh, goodness me. We saw that on the pit wall and we were terrified that there'd been contact. We saw the incident happen, but we didn't see Ian get away. We didn't know if he was stuck in the gravel, if somebody else had collected him. So Mark, Mike and I are all on the pit wall wondering if Ian is going to come around again. Now, we do have a radio system, so we can talk to Ian, but because of the microphone setup, he can't talk back to us. So we don't know what the hell's going on right now. And that is not a nice feeling. However, because the pack was so tight together and costing each other time in the scrapping, we were actually telling Ian to come into the pits. The pit window is now open, so come into the pits, come out onto the track in some clear air, get some good laps in, and hopefully when everything shakes out, we might be out in the lead with a bit of a gap. Now... Of course, we're telling Ian to come into the pits on the radio. He, very sensible, well, he knows more than we do at this point. He knows that the car is now okay. We might have a flat spot on some of the tyres, but everything's okay. And he's got the free track ahead of him now that a pit stop would have given him. So we've now seen Ian come around on this lap. We know that the car's running okay. So the message to Ian now is... well, it's a frank one. It's get your bloody foot down, mate. It's horrible when you have an incident like that, but racing drivers are very good at forgetting very quickly. Ian, I don't want to speak for him, but knowing him as I do and my own experience, Ian won't give two hoots about that spin. He'll have kicked himself for 10-15 seconds, even though it wasn't his fault and he did absolutely the right thing and avoided a collision accident. He'll have kicked himself for a little while, but your brain goes straight back into race mode and he'll be thinking, right, I've just lost 10 seconds with that spin. It was 10 seconds as well. We checked the timing. That lap, Ian crossed the line on a 1:24, and he'd been doing low 14s consistently with the pack. So we're a net 10 seconds down, but we've got a clear track ahead of us, and we know that we can do low 13s in clear air. So technically, within 10 laps, Ian should be back on the pack, which, although we've just lost so much, we're not out of it. This race win is still on, would you believe it? Ian's just got to head down and really hammer home the laps now. I say hammer home. Do you watch Formula 1? We've not heard it for a long time, but you know Lewis Hamilton's hammer time. This is Howard time. This is when Ian needs to go hell for leather like it's qualifying. Now then, eyes up to the top left. Who's that good-looking geezer in the yellowy-green t-shirt walking across the pit lane? Hey, that'd be me. Look at that. I think that might be the first time that I've actually featured in one of my own videos. In that context, anyway. Now, yeah, eyes up top left. There's Luke Johnson in the pits. There's his dad Barry talking to him. And Luke pitted from the lead, I believe. He might have been battling with Neil, but Luke told me afterwards that he just wanted to pit early and try and sort of get out of the pack, which was actually our strategy until that spin happened. It's a solid strategy. You know, you can really benefit from doing it. The downside is, of course, that if you hit a safety car after your pit stop and other cars pit in the pit stop window under the safety car, they get a huge advantage. So although Luke has made the right decision, and it's a decision we wanted to make as well, it does put you into a window of exposure, so to speak, until the other cars have pitted. Now, a minor funny thing, it's just gone actually because we've gone back to Luke's on board. I'll tell you what I was going to tell you next time our rearview mirror pops up instead. But you can see Luke in the pits. We are, well, this far ahead now. It's about 3/4 of a lap. We're coming down into the Brooklands corner, and Luke is still sat in the pits. He's got to sit there for he doesn't sit for 90 seconds, but he has to wait in the pits for 90 seconds between the pit entry line and the pit exit line. And it can be quite tricky to time that. You know, you can lose a bit of time by being overcautious, but if you cross that exit line before 90 seconds is up, you get a hefty penalty. So you want to run it as close as you can, but you don't want to risk a penalty. So although Luke is coming out of the pits now, we are, in fact, did we get to, Ian went a bit wide then, that's from pushing on, we must almost be side by side here, unless the cameras aren't synced up properly, which there's a very good chance. I was doing this edit earlier in the week, and I did a really good job, and for some reason when I came to do the voiceover the other night, the edit was gone. Who knows, maybe I saved it in the wrong place, or there was a problem with the software that I use, but I had to start all over again, which was a bit of a pain to say the least, because it takes at least 2 hours to chop all this up and get all the cameras synced and everything. But enough woe is me. All right, I don't want to complain about something like that because I actually enjoy doing it. So yeah, we're probably not too far away from Luke on the circuit at the moment, but there's probably a lap and a bit between us. So who's that? Yeah, oh, here comes Alfie Jones around the outside again. Alfie had a really good run. He's worked really hard on his car, and he's put a lot of effort in, and he's driving really well. He ended up finishing this race overall in 3rd position, which is fantastic. Well done, Alfie and the team at DHD. Right, how far into this race are we now? I can't see Ian's timer on the dashboard, but right, there's Luke on the live stream going into Copse Corner, and we're going into Beckett. So yeah, we are a lap and a little bit ahead, which yeah, makes perfect sense, because with a gap of a lap of 1 minute and 15 say, and a 90-second stop with slowing down and speeding up at either end, and the 10 seconds that we lost in our spin, we're about on par, exactly where we should be. We should come out of the pits about 10 seconds behind Luke at this stage. Now, if Luke was still fighting in the pack doing 114s, then we might be able to catch and pass, but Luke's now got clear air, so he will be able to maintain that gap and put in some quick laps of his own. So I can't remember what the actual gaps were. I don't know where the other Pumas are. I can't remember if they've pitted yet or not. But yeah, I guess we'll see how it all comes out in the wash. Look at that head-on picture, top left. That reminds me of the Formula 1 camera shots, you know, coming head-on towards Copse and then chuck the car in. Really high-speed apex Copse. It's a fantastic corner, really sorts the drivers out, and you have to be careful not to run wide on the exit, because you can get a track limits penalty, and if you knock up too many of them in a session, you start getting race penalties, like, you know, 5 seconds added to your race time, 10 seconds, official warning, drive-through, disqualification, you know, all different manner of things. And who's that in the pits? That's not a Puma, is it? No, that's one of the Fiestas with a bit of engine trouble by the look of it. But there goes Russ Hurd in the white Honda. That's the second time Ian's seen that Honda today, and we know what happened the first time. So fingers crossed that, I say fingers crossed, I know that nothing happens this time, and you can see it on the screen that nothing happened. And but look, you see how fast those cars are down the straight, but they didn't pull anything on us around the twisty bit. It really does just go to show how quick these Pumas are on the brakes and the apex speeds. We're a match for anything on this grid, and it's a shame we don't have more power. We might be able to go for some outright wins if we had another 200 brake horsepower, keep up with the boys in front. And oh, look at that Volvo, that red and green one, lovely car that. I do like it when you see sort of unusual cars in club motorsports, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to anyone, but there's a heck of a lot of Fiestas, there's a heck of a lot of Honda Civics. You go to different series, you see nothing but Renault Clios, Mazda MX-5s, that kind of thing. All fantastic race cars, nothing against them at all, but when you see something a little bit different, then yeah, that puts a smile on my face. I don't know of any other Volvos like that race, and I can't tell you what model it is. I'm not Anaraki enough to know that, I'm afraid. Nice shot of somebody's legs in the pits working on, is that the same Fiesta that we saw having trouble earlier? probably is. I don't know that team, but shame for them. They've lost a lap or so now, so they'll be well out of it. Okay, back to Ian then. Sorry, I waxed lyrical a little bit there. Where are we here? We are exit of Luffield. Someone's coming into the pits. You know, Ian's doing a great job here. Now, when we were on the pit lane, on the pit wall, trying to figure out everything that's going on and whatnot, all we've got really is a website called TSL, which does all the timing. The cars have got little transponders in them, and every time it crosses the line, the live timing goes up onto this website. So we can see everybody's lap times, and from that we can gauge the gaps between the different cars. So Mark, Mike and I on the pit wall, we're just looking at the lap times, and we can see Ian's flying. At this point in the race, he was doing sort of mid-13s, I think, something like that. So, which was about the same pace as Luke, but it was quicker than the other Pumas. The Jackson car, which might be the full James car now, because I don't know if they've made their pit stop or not. Gareth Cotgrove and Zach Bagwell. Katie, who I mentioned earlier. Actually, it's a good time to talk about Katie while we've got a bit of a break in the action on circuit. Katie made her debut at Thruxton last year. She's a driving instructor by trade, and she was messaging, well, we were messaging each other on Facebook. Oh, hang on. No, I'll come back to that because we've got our pit stop now. So we're getting to the end of the pit stop window. There's only a couple of minutes left, and Ian was aware of this. So in he comes to the pits. There's that timing line now. So we can't cross the exit line less than 90 seconds from that moment. I'm going to cut now to some footage I recorded live in the pit lane, and I'll kill the voiceover and you can just listen to the audio from there. I have these funky sunglasses with a camera in the front, and you get some pretty good point of view footage. So there's me in the yellow green t-shirt thing. There's Mark stopping. So over to the glasses.
Maybe you'll come out with the pack or have a bit of catching to do. Okay. But you've got pace on everyone, Luke included. Okay?
What's his best?
He's about half a second behind you.
I'm struggling to hear you a bit.
Pardon?
I'm struggling to hear you on the radio.
Okay. Can we turn his radio up? We'll turn the volume up a bit for you.
30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds. Done with that? Thank you. Right, you're doing brilliant, mate. Really impressed. Right, remember, it's the speed limit line on 0. You got it?
Yeah.
Good lad. Bring it home, boy.
Sorry.
Was it you?
I oversteered. Is there on the outside of me?
Mate, we're having a cracking race so far. Was that not one of the best Puma Cup scraps you've ever been in?
Well, I don't know. I was leading for most of it.
Oh, mate, there were 4 or 5 laps in a row. 5 cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Different order.
It was a good crack.
You're right.
Yeah,
I thought you'd be bawling your eyes out when you got back in today, mate.
You were on it. Absolutely on it. Well done. I can't believe all 5 cars that fucking close.
No.
Amazing.
Considering qualifying was like 6, 7 seconds apart.
Everyone's different in race though, aren't they? It's
The next one from nowhere to.
Yeah.
2 or 3 laps, it was 3 wide into cups. Did you see Arian spin? I think you were ahead at that point.
He was inside of me, just sort of coming, and I was going to give him the room, but then a fucking tin top come there, and I think he must have gone.
He just lost the back end. He basically did a 360 and rejoined. But he then got clear air, so he's pushed on, and who knows where he's going to come out in the train now, but right back in it.
Right back in it indeed. Look at the live stream. We've got us ahead of now Nick Fulljames in the white Puma and Gareth Cotgrove in the blue one. So Ian's fast laps before the pit stop managed to make up the 10 seconds that he lost in the spin, and he's now right back on the pack. And look at this, 3 wide into cups again. Nick's going up the inside, Gareth on the outside, us in the middle. Oh, contact. That was, oh my word. Right, you got 3 cars going for the apex like that. There's a natural pinch. and difficult to tell, but unfortunately Nick ended up in the gravel there. Gareth once again had a bloody good view. I'd love to know if Gareth has got some in-car footage, but look at that, brilliant work by the marshals. They've run out over the gravel, given Nick a push, and he manages to get back in the race. No need for a safety car, which is fantastic, but unfortunately Nick's out of the battle now, which is a shame for him. It's horrible that, but it happens, I'm afraid. We've been the victim of, and look at Gareth going so wide round Brooklands up on the live stream. Whew, good work, Gareth. Well done, mate. Right, so back to the pit stop footage. I recorded that on my little glasses. Apologies for any language if you're offended, blah, blah, blah. I say apologies. Sorry, not sorry. What do you expect? It's a racing pit lane, and that was live, unedited footage. The chap we were talking to was Neil Jackson in the white Puma that he shares with Nick. Obviously, they'd made their pit stop before us, and Neil came over to apologise for the damage. You might have seen it on the side of the car, the tyre marks and whatnot, and the reference to me, I made Tim bawling his eyes out. The chap I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Mark Jackson, Neil is Mark's younger brother, so fair play to Neil. It must have been really tough for him this weekend, being at the track without Mark, but he did really well, super well, and I'm a little bit it's a shame that the result didn't come, because that would have been poetic, definitely. Right then, so what's the race situation at the moment? Remembering, going from memory, Luke is about 10 seconds ahead of us right now, but we are in a net second place. Those fast laps before the pit stop really made the difference, and we were faster than Luke in qualifying. Can we continue to be faster than him in this final portion of the race? Excuse me, close the gap and see if the race win is on. He's back into qualifying mode again. He's got to be, hasn't he? There's a 10 seconds, doesn't sound very much, but I tell you what, when we come out of this corner, let's count 10 seconds and see how far we actually go. Okay, let's wait till the car's straightened up, and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Almost the length of the Wellington Straight, and yes, I had my eye on the timer while I was doing that, so anyone who says I was counting slow or fast, I wasn't. That was bang on 10 seconds. Now, it doesn't seem like a huge amount, 10 seconds, but in motorsport, it's enormous. Now, you look at the qualifying times, we were about half a second faster than Luke. So, based on that, and I know it's not a true guide because you can't do that kind of pace lap in, lap out, and we got the traffic to deal with as well. But let's just say that we go flat out between now and the flag and don't make any mistakes, and Luke does exactly the same thing. It's going to take us 20 laps to catch him. 20 laps around this circuit, and we don't have 20 laps to go in this race. Now, I'm ever so sorry, but the live stream in the top left-hand corner is clearly out of sync. We're up at the Beckett's complex, and the live stream had us going around cops just then, so I'm sorry about that. That's got lost in the edit. I can't be bothered to go back and reset it all, so if you see something a bit out of the ordinary in that regard, then hey, deal with it, suck it up. One of those things, all right? Right, okay, before the pit stop I was talking a little bit about Katie. Let's revisit Katie, shall we? Katie made a debut at Thruxton last year. I wasn't there, and I saw that she was on the entry list for Silverstone and dropped her a line on Facebook to sort of welcome her to the paddock, essentially. And what a little superstar, full of enthusiasm, full of just energy, wanting to get involved, asking a heck of a lot of questions, and doing that thing of apologising every time she asked a question. Please don't apologise, that's no need at all. Learning curve in any kind of motorsport is incredibly steep, and one of the great things about the Puma Cup is that everybody will want to help you out and help you have a good day's motorsport. that was put into effect, and proof's in the pudding. Katie, in qualifying on the Sunday morning, one of the wheel bearings went at Copse Corner, which is an incredibly fast corner. Like I said, we're doing about 85 miles an hour at the apex, and it's a 90-degree right-hander. Next time you're out in your road car, imagine turning 90 degrees at 85 miles an hour. It's hairy. The wheel bearing let go on her, and the car sort of ran over it, and I didn't see it happen, but she apparently went about 4 foot in the air and landed in the gravel. And we thought it was day over, but true form, the car came back to the paddock, and we got about 3 hours between qualifying and the race. Katie, her dad and her mum were basically packing up. It was like day over. But Puma Cuppers, what a bunch we are. Everyone just kind of flooded around the car. It's like, what's wrong with it? Don't know. Let's have a look. Loads of people had a look. It's like, right, it's this, it's that. Have we got spares? No. Go and ask so-and-so. Oi, have you got one of the... Yeah, I have. Can we borrow it? Yeah, of course you can. Everyone just kind of chipped in. And the look on Katie's face when we said, look, we can get you out in this race. You can race this afternoon. The beaming smile and the joy behind her eyes was brilliant, made it really worthwhile. So Katie did manage to get to the start line, and she qualified off the pace, but no problem, it's her second race. She got a fair few laps in, and this is what impressed me the most. She actually retired the car voluntarily after I'm going to say 15-20 minutes, I'm not 100% sure, and I saw her in the paddock afterwards and asked if everything was okay, and she said yeah, it was, but it got a bit daunting when all the leaders came past, and we're going 3 or 4 wide and blah blah blah. Now, a lot of people would have stayed out in that situation, and the nerves and the anxiety can get the better of you, and you end up causing an accident. So I've got a huge amount of respect for her for making the decision, the very brave decision, to call it a day. And I'm not trying to blow smoke up my own here or anything, but a similar thing happened to us at Alton Park a few years ago. There was a mistake with the timing beam, and the timing system recorded my lap way quicker than I'd actually gone, and they wanted me to start something like 6th on the grid instead of 26th, and I voluntarily went to the back of the grid because it would have just been dangerous. I would have been all the cars around me would have been so much quicker going into turn 1. Nobody would have known my braking points, and just sometimes the right thing to do is self-detrimental, and that can be a difficult decision to make. I've made it myself, and in only a second race Katie did the same thing. So you know what, Katie, incredibly good. I'm going to keep saying debut because it's the first time I'd seen you at the Puma Cup. Great race. Never visited the circuit before, never even been to Silverstone before, let alone raced around it. But Katie and all of her family went home with a smile on their face, and very much a well-deserved one as well. I think we're next going to see them at Castle Combe at the beginning of August. So yeah, hopefully she'll have closed up to the pack a little bit, keep improving skills, keep improving the car, and one day she'll be fighting with us at the in the pack. And all those times it was 5 of us going into Copse Corner, maybe it'll be 6 next time. That would be pretty cool. Now there's Luke on the live stream. He's just braking into Brooklands Corner, and we are at Beckett's, which is at the beginning of the Wellington Straight. So the gap now is probably about 14-15 seconds, something like that. Now, since Ian came out the pits, the gap actually went up and down quite a bit. It got down to about 7.5 seconds, something like that. Just on outright pace. But unfortunately Ian's lap time started dropping off, and there's a good example on the in-car footage there. The tyres were just pretty much done at this point. They'd had one massive slide and a fair few hairy half slides, a few lockups on the way, because that first one will have caused a flat spot, which is essentially where the car skids across the tarmac. It rubs the rubber of the tyre away and creates a flat spot, a bit like the side of a 50p piece. Now, you can live with that, it's okay, but over time, every time you push the brake pedal a little bit too much, the wheel will naturally stop on that flat spot, because that's where the friction is at its highest. So the flat spot gets worse and worse, and with that the tyre temperatures start going up, coupled with the fact that we've been hammering around for what, 35 minutes now, and it was about 28 degrees on this Sunday afternoon. So yeah, the tyres have just had enough now, and Ian's noticing that, you know, the understeer is happening, the braking distances are getting a bit longer, and when you put your foot down coming out of the corner, the wheels spin up a little bit before they get traction. You saw another slide there, Ian had to correct it mid-corner. So come out the pits at about 10 seconds, got it down to 7.5, and then it eked out again. At the largest it was about 14, but then with traffic and the ebb and flow of things, it came back down to about 10 seconds again. So spoiler alert, we're going to finish in second place. There's only a handful of minutes left, maybe 2 or 3 laps, something like that. So I'll start going through the debrief, so to speak. It's been an incredible race. It's had everything, this one. Woodstock has only had maybe 2 or 3 on-track contacts in the 6 years that we've been racing, and in this race we've had a half spin, which I'd please go back and watch that replay and just see how close Gareth Cotgrove came to hitting us. And that's not a slur on Gareth at all. He did incredibly well to avoid it, if we're being honest. Yeah. So this race had everything. There was the knock, there was the damage down the side of the car, which luckily is only cosmetic. Managed to polish some of it out, but we're going to need somebody to get on the bodywork and do that properly. We'll try and get that done before Snetterton in a couple of weeks. But Ian, you might just have to live with having a mildly bent car. Oh, no, I shouldn't say bent, really. People think we're cheating now, and I didn't mean that. We're not cheating. Oh, God. Yeah, you know what I mean, though. But here Ian comes. Is this the checkered flag, actually? Yes, it is. There we go. There's the checkered flag. So, a hell of a race. First place down to 5th place, down to 2nd place, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, there's the result for you. Just a roller coaster of emotions, and I know that's a cliche, but to go through that from the pit wall was both terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. It was an epic day. We had a brilliant time. Ian's driven really well. He's got to grips with this Puma, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but he paid me a great compliment when he got out of the car. He said, you know, that car is effing this and effing that, just saying how bloody brilliant it was, how well it handled. There's a shot of the damage. There's Ian with his trophy, and yeah, here's Team Guroba. Mark on the left, Ian, myself, and Mike the mechanic on the right hand side. I hope you enjoyed that. Our next race is at Snetterton in a couple of weeks. Please keep your eyes open for that. Like, subscribe, share, comment, get involved. Yeah, we love it when people say hello, so please do so. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.